Welcome everyone, followers and listeners to Dream Aesthetic Podcast, Behind the Scenes. This is Dream Aesthetic Podcast, Dream Behind the Scenes Series 2, Episode 1. My name is Ahmad. I am the co-host for the Dream Aesthetic Podcast. Together with me, Anand Raj. He's the host as well the president of Dream Aesthetic. Dream Aesthetic is proud to be the first bodybuilding organization that actually do, a podcast and offer exclusive platforms such as this podcast where athletes are able to share their stories and, things behind the scenes, things that you don't see on stage. We usually see athletes on stage and they just have 2-3 minutes of whatever they have done for the whole year. So this podcast serves as a platform for these athletes to actually share things that they cannot put on the stage. Everyone have stories behind it, untold stories. So this is the reason why we do this podcast. So this podcast also aims to inspire, educate, the bodybuilding community out there, Singapore especially, and also if we can reach across Southeast Asia, that's the goal, that's the vision. The vision is to inspire, to educate, and to provide a platform, so that a platform that is real, that is not superficial, it's more real, it's in-depth, you can actually hear the real story behind everyone. So that's the whole idea of this podcast. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ahmad. Ahmad actually did say everything. What I want to say, he did told everything. And thank you so much, Ahmad. Ahmad has been here for the his third time. And he's been there for Dream Aesthetic for all the events. And he's the main guy. And in this podcast, I like to thank Mr. Ahmad for everything, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. I'm just helping out a friend and supporting that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dream Aesthetic Podcast, Series 2, Episode 1. So I am Anand Raj. I'm the president of Dream Aesthetic. And I'm with my host, Mr. Ahmad. He's been in this podcast 3 times and also been a very big support for Dream Aesthetic. So I'd like to thank Ahmad for big thanks to him. And then, all right, so Dream Aesthetic is also proud to be the first organizations that actually we offer this behind the scenes story. Why are we doing this? As an ex-athlete, I know what kind of struggle actually I faced back then. And simply when people see us, they will just say, oh, this body I don't like to have kind of body. But only an athlete knows what kind of sacrifices, what kind of hard work we actually have to go through to get that great physique. And after we get a great physique, nobody recognizes that. So I want this platform to recognize us. Athlete must have a great identity in Singapore. We want to actually inspire the next generation, educate them, and create a strong community. So without furthering, I like to just start the whole podcast series. Here we have Mr. VANNAN. He's our athlete. He competed in Dream Aesthetic Olympian. He is a yoga master as well as a top 10 yoga master in Singapore. And he has his beautiful behind the stories, what kind of sacrifices he has faced. Yes, so without further, let's dive into his story.
Right, welcome VANNAN. Welcome to Dream Aesthetic Podcast. So yes, let's straight away, jump into you and your story. Introduce yourself, and start your story. Let's start with introducing yourself and how did your fitness journey or competition, journey in this competing in physique begin?
My name is VANNAN. I'm a yoga instructor. There's been a long journey to the platform, many ups and downs, a lot of dreams. Along the way, my dreams were crushed because of many issues that has happened. One of them was I broke my ankle 3 months away from a competition. And another one was my father had to go through a bypass close to 2 months before a competition. So I had I've probably been working out for about 2 years, and then close to a competition, something happens. And I got to the platform this last year. My car broke, my handphone broke, My father was on the hospital 3 days before the competition.
Oh,
Everything else crashed. Whatever
Wow.
I had not much money on my bank. Uh, Nothing seemed to be going. So
seems like everything is going against you when you're trying
against
to
the
do
flow,
something.
yes. So it was either my father was on the hospital, my niece was on the hospital, my sister was sick, my mom was under depression, my grandmother was sick.
Wow.
So everybody was. I had to balance everything out. And yes, and many people told me, "Oh, you won't be able to make it in a platform. You cannot make it. You cannot do it. It's not easy. Look at that guy. That body. His body is better than yours. That sort of thing."
Mhm.
But you just have to keep your mind focused on what you want, and you got to keep driving at it. The question is either mindsight or eyesight.
Mindsight,
Mindsight
or
or eyesight. Sometimes you cannot see what you would want to achieve, yourself changing. You can't see, but you got to keep it in your mind that this is the sight. This is the mindsight that I want. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you can see it with your vision.
Okay.
So I kept seeing myself going on stage.
Okay.
It has
so
been
that's
not
the
just the
vision
first-
that you
yeah.
have in the head. Okay.
So it was the mindset that
Okay.
I was strongly working on. I told myself, well, no matter what happens, I'm going to step on stage. And those who believed in me, I want to make them proud. I used to teach the boys in some of the gyms. I just used to just coach them, I used to tell them that you got to walk the talk. If you want to be a trainer, if you want to tell people to do something, you ask people to do something, you should walk the talk.
Yep.
You should not just say and just go.
Yes.
You just got to leave it. And I invited those boys over for the competition, and they came back to me and said, "You walk the talk."
As in, like, come and watch your competition. Okay.
Yeah, so they were very proud of me. They are inspired.
Nice.
And I said what I wanted to do, and I did what I said. And that's, I think, very important. And it's actually working out in the gym, training is a psychological pursuit. It's a mind game. That's how strong you are.
In the head. Yes.
That determines how far you will go. The change, the discipline, the consistency, staying in the game, no matter what, even if it is 10 minutes, and you can't do anything. You're not in the mind to do anything. Just go to the gym. Just do something. The collective consciousness will help you to gain that energy and the momentum to come back into the sport again. Yes. So many years ago, I had a coach, Mr. Vasant. I attended a neurolinguistics programming session. I'm also a hypnotherapist and a timeline therapist. I used to ask him, if I want to be a life coach like you, I don't have the experience that you have, but I want to be a life coach. I want to coach somebody in my life. He said, yes, you can, but only one thing. I need you to gain depth in your life before you coach somebody. You need to have depth in your life. You gain depth.
Wow.
So when you speak with depth,
yes,
you will penetrate. In your own unique ways, you will be able to deliver. You will be able to coach somebody, but you got to gain depth. So I was thinking of what and how I can actually gain this depth, how I could gain this depth. And I knew for a fact that you need somebody to guide you in the process. I've been trying on my own. It didn't work. I know the techniques. It didn't work. Something is not there. So you got to get a coach, the right person to get you to the platform. And I found the right person to coach me, which was Anand. Anand is my coach.
actually
Yes.
coached you for the
Yes.
competition.
Yes, I had many coaches before. They couldn't do the job, but he promised me that 100% you will be on stage. You will be on stage, guaranteed.
100%.
100%, no question asked. You will be on stage. You just got to follow what I tell you to do. And so you got to go in with a mindset that I'm also a personal trainer. I have been training for some time and coaching for some time, say Singapore American Club and outside. But you cannot bring your knowledge when you are with a coach. I throw everything that I knew into the basket. When I'm there, I come in with an empty mind. Whatever he says is what it is. If you can humble yourself to the coach will be able to lead you.
Nice. I really like this point. Like you're saying, like you have to put everything in the basket. I think there is a concept out there. They say like you have to unlearn, right?
Unlearn to
whatever
relearn,
you know.
yeah.
You kind of like have to unlearn, put it aside first, in order for you to be able to take
Yes.
new things. You know,
Yes.
like new knowledge. Once you gather those new knowledge, then you kind of relearn of whatever you have unlearned. You put it back. Then you make it. You know, that's where I think like it really resonates with me when you say like you try to gain depth, right? Now you have unlearned yourself. You learn something new. You relearn back. That's where you have the depth, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you gain. Yes.
If I knew how to step on stage, I wouldn't need a coach at the first place. So it took so many years for me and I couldn't get myself on stage. That means
Right.
I don't know enough to be on stage.
Yep.
So you got to actually recognize that or accept that you don't know enough.
So that's how you kind of like humble yourself.
Humble
and, you know,
myself,
like, okay,
yeah.
learn from someone else, you know, get a coach
Yes.
in order for you to be able to get on stage.
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
nice. That's very interesting. Okay, it's really exciting talking to you now. I'm going to like expand your story by asking like few questions, if I may. So maybe start with, okay, how long have you been practicing yoga?
Actually, since I was about 5-6 years of age, I was introduced to yoga.
And okay, and from then until now, that is like what, 20 years?
About there, 20 over years, yeah.
20 over years of practicing yoga, right? Okay.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you are also a personal trainer, I
Personal
understand,
trainer.
and you do neuro-linguistic hypnotherapist, also
Life
life coaching.
Sorry, he's like from 5 years old. So from 5, it won't be 20 years. So now must be 40 years.
More than that, actually. Yeah.
So
Yes.
more than, okay, let's
More than 30 years,
yeah, more than 30 years of practicing yoga, right? So definitely you are a yoga master, right? Yes, 100%, right? No doubt about it. Yes. So being a yoga master, you are also a personal trainer.
Yes.
And I understand like it's a different spectrum, right?
Yes.
I think recently I also myself, I started, you know, like practicing yoga, and I'm trying to actually learn yoga and try to, you know, like be a yoga teacher. So I understand you have to put, you know, even when you first started, you have to put in like at least 200 hours, right? For you to be able
Yes.
to call yourself a
Yes.
yoga teacher,
Yes.
right? And I think like being a yoga master, I think like you need more and more and more. You know,
Yes.
like it's a different level. Yeah. So I think I can definitely relate to the story. So you have been practicing yoga for more than 30 years, right?
Yes.
And yet you have this vision that you want to be on bodybuilding stage.
Yes.
So tell me more about that vision that you have.
It requires, how to say, I wanted to see myself on stage and the platform. I wanted my parents to be proud of it, of
Okay.
this achievement. And I wanted to prove to myself that I can do this. I'm not just saying,
Understand.
I'm not just, blabbering.
Understand.
There were many instances I couldn't get to stage. I've spoken to many people, tell them, I'm going to go on stage and I won't go because my dad would have had a medical issue or this, and they stopped losing trust in me.
Yep.
You won't get there.
So it's more of
you're
like
not ready.
defying
Yeah.
the limits or
Yeah,
defying
they
the...
always judge you like, you are just a yoga instructor. Just a yoga instructor.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, like, because I think it's almost natural because you are a master in a different spectrum, you know, and then suddenly you want to try and do something else. Of course, people will be like, some will have doubts, right? Like you are actually a master in yoga, so why do bodybuilding instead? So I think that's usually the way it gets behind this is the untold story. If people want to understand this, yes.
So yoga is a profession by itself, right?
Okay.
So like that, it is, of course, it's very close to my heart. But that's just a job that you do. It's a job that you do with passion. And likewise, it does not determine your character, your personality. It's a work that you do.
It's a more of a, okay.
And you can do anything that you put your mind to. I wanted to drive this point across that there is nothing impossible everything is possible. You got to adopt a possibility mindset. If somebody can go on stage, you can do it too.
Great.
It is not like you are going to pump yourself with some motivational speaking talk. Oh, I'm going to do this. And then it's not like that. It's a possibility thinking. If somebody else can do it, it does not matter whether you're a yoga instructor or a sweeper. If you are determined, if you fix your mind to the goal, you will do it. You can do it. It is possible. It can be done. If you get the right person to coach you, if you get the right coaching practices, if you are disciplined, if you are committed, you will definitely make it. I wanted to drive the point. No matter where you are in life, you will get there. If you are persistent at it, if you're consistent at it, if you really, what life will test you to the last point. Even to the last minute, I was down, I got sick, and nothing stopped me from getting to the platform. And I told myself, no matter what happens, it's not over until I win. Like what Lee Brown says, that it just is not over until you win. You just got to keep going. You just have to stay in the game. So I stayed in the game close to about 20 years. I didn't manage to get to the stage. I always, at the age of 27, I started my workout with my trainers and all that. I failed many
Don't mind me
times.
sharing, like, how old are you now?
Now I'm 46 this year.
46.
Yes.
So since the age of 27, you had this vision in your mind that you wanted to be, you wanted to compete and you wanted to be on a bodybuilding stage.
Yes.
So that's a very long time, man.
Yes.
20 years, you know.
Yes.
19, 20 years, right?
Yes.
So from 27 until 46, that's what, 20 years.
And I keep trying. Every year I will keep trying close to the stage, but no, I will not get there. It's either a medical issue from a medical emergency of the family or something or not. And I have to pay attention to family. Family comes first.
Yep.
And then, so yes. So I just kept going at it. Every time I failed, I just got up, because they say when you fall on your back. When you can look up, you can get up.
Yep.
So I keep falling on my back, and I looked up and I kept getting up. When you keep getting up, one day you will get there into the platform.
Awesome, man. That's very powerful. You see, like, okay, for the listeners out there, VANNAN took 20 years to compete. So if you think you can actually like do it in 1 year, 2 years, and then, you know, like things go bad, things go difficult, and then you start to give up, you know, like this is the story that you need to hear. You know, like someone out there, you know, like someone somewhere did not give up for 20 years until they make it. So I think that this is where I find it very inspiring. And you can actually apply this concept in life, right? Sometimes in life, you wanted something, you know, it's not just bodybuilding. You wanted something, but for some reason, it's, you know, like something's probably out of your reach. It seems impossible at that point of time. But I think the point here is your consistency and your determination. You know, like the relentlessness of fighting it for 20 years. That's a very long time. And you know, like, it's indescribable. You know, like some people, you know, like 1 year, 2 years, give up already. Like things like, okay, we can say like in daily, you know, like daily life stuff, you know, like things like marriage and stuff, you know, like 5 years, it's not working with this guy 5 years, okay, give up kind of thing, like divorce, you know, like 10 years, 20 years. But you persisted for 20 years to fight for it and to achieve it. I think that's where I find it very inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. That's I think that, and this is the reason why we do this podcast, you know, like to uncover all these untold stories, you know, like things that you've been holding for 20 years and probably you did not have the platform to share. This is probably like your chance to actually like put it out there, you know, like, and put it in a structure and put it in a perspective where it helps other people and it inspires other people. You know, like everyone can inspire someone if they know what's going on. That's cool.
Yes.